more proof that the University of Tennessee is taking over Columbus, Ohio. What?
4 downs. 4 questions. 4 answers. The Dave Hooker Show.
4
downs. A presentation of OffTheHookSports.com.
All right, Cooper Mays, you're the man. Tell us what to do to take part in 4 downs.
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
All right, what down, Coop?
Coop here. First down.
All right, first down is this as I kick it to Caleb Calhoun. More resale tickets on StubHub and SeatGeek have gone to Tennessee residents more than Ohio residents. What can you tell us about this breaking news, Caleb?
Yes, and this is from the Columbus Dispatch. Funny enough, they reported it. They reached out to SeatGeek and StubHub. And so StubHub reports that 42% of their resale tickets have gone to Tennessee residents and only 23% to Ohio residents. That's insane, honestly, for a game that's supposed to be in Ohio. It's a lot closer with SeatGeek. It's 37% to 34%. But guys, not only is this game in Ohio, but Ohio's a much bigger state population-wise than Tennessee. So just raw numbers, you would expect Ohio would pick up and scoop up more resale tickets. But no, Tennessee residents are scooping up more resale tickets. I have a hunch those Tennessee residents are Tennessee fans. Just my hunch.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably right on that. What down, Coop?
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
Okay. Bars in Ohio are reporting Tennessee fans are playing Rocky Top over other potential tunes. Breaking news, Caleb.
Yes, so this came out too. WBIR has reported this. Touch Tunes, which is the app now that you can play it when you go to bars to play music. There's a report that Rocky Top is being played disproportionately at bars across Ohio, particularly near Columbus, which obviously makes it clear that Tennessee fans have already invaded this state. I'm sure many people decided to take off work for the week just to go to Ohio to party it up. Now, I want to say, I don't know if this means there will be I don't know if this means this will be 25% Tennessee fans. I don't know if it means it'll be 30 or 40% Tennessee fans. I just know it's going to be more than the 3,500 tickets allotted for Tennessee.
No, agreed there. And I want to get into that number, though, because we're not going to step aside from it, because I think some people have talked about this number and then they just stepped aside. So I want to realistically look at what percentage of actual butts in seats. I mean, let's get excited if you want to, but let's also be semi-realistic. So what down is next, Cooper Mays?
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
All right, third down, Cooper, is this. Professional resellers report a huge drop in ticket prices down to under $200. How that makes the home crowd look like a very Rocky Top sort of crowd. On the program with Caleb Calhoun, I'm Dave Hooker, the show represented by Banks & Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney, banksandjones.com. Why Banks & Jones? Well, it's because they're Tennessee's trial attorney. You can play to win with Banks & Jones because they'll go to trial. You've heard of other lawyers. They say they'll go to trial and fight for you. They won't. They just want to settle. That's the easiest way out. Well, that's not Banks & Jones, led by T. Scott Jones. They won't settle. They'll go to trial for you. Tennessee's trial attorney. They play to win. Truly, Tennessee's trial attorney when it comes to criminal defense or personal injury. Why settle? It's Banks & Jones. T. Scott Jones. Banks. If you read it real quick, it looks like professional wrestlers, but it's not. It's professional resellers report a huge drop in ticket prices. Caleb Calhoun down to under $200. What that tells me is that the fans that are close to Ohio State, close to Columbus, aren't as apt to go, which would again paint the backdrop that this could be a pro type of home crowd at Columbus. And I want to dive into what that would actually mean and how we would define that. So Caleb, do you want to go to fourth down now, or do you want to, what would define a pro home crowd for anybody that's going on the road to a Power Four? Do we want to get into that first or fourth down?
Yeah. Let me
fourth down?
No. Let me break down this drop in prices because there's more to the story. What it's saying is there's a higher supply of Ohio State tickets to these games on StubHub than other college football playoff games, and that would suggest that many Ohio State fans just don't want to go to the game because, as Dylan points out, It's cheaper to go to this game than it was to go to the Tennessee-Kentucky game earlier this season in the regular season.
Ouch.
That's crazy. That's insane, guys. And look, we'll talk about this on fourth down, but the truth of the matter is Ohio State fans are really down on Ryan Day. They're really down on the program. And they seem to I've covered one team like this, but never in a playoff. Dave, you've covered some teams that I'm sure that were bad and they wanted to keep losing just to get everybody fired. Have you ever covered a team in a playoff that wanted to do that though?
No, of course not. No, that's bizarre. Not even close. Not even a team that needed Florida to lose 2 SEC games in order to get back in the race for an SEC championship game. And that was about as far-fetched as you could imagine at the time. And that happened for Tennessee. And no, Caleb, I mean, when you still have a chance to win everything, when that door's officially shut, I get it. I get the not taking part and opting out. You got to look out for your family and your family tree. And I get all that. But when you've still got potentially a championship to play for, you shouldn't be shopping yourself, and you shouldn't be
rooting to lose.
Yes, rooting for your team to lose. You're nowhere close to that point. And I don't know that it really helps you at all, Caleb, to be honest with you. I mean, you could have argued that Tennessee, why did they part ways with Philip Fulmer early? I'm sure you know why, but I'll just ask.
I mean, because the program had gotten totally stale and the offense was so bad in 2008 and it was 2 losing seasons in 4 years and the boosters totally turned. Basically, the boosters were like, we want him gone.
Right. But the reason they did it during the season, which you probably wouldn't have done in a perfect world, right?
Right.
Because he's a legendary coach, is because Lane Kiffin, completely tricked Tennessee in the fact that he said Washington had offered, which they had, and that he was going to take that, which is very questionable, and that he had a hard out on that, and he only had so much time. So that pushed Tennessee's hand, and that's why Lane Kiffin accepted the job as quickly as he did, and there was a move made in the middle of the season. But Caleb, you still have a championship to play for. For anybody to suggest that Ohio State should lose this game for the betterment of the program is a head scratcher to me. You win one more game, you're in the final 8 of the country. You win 2 more games, you're in the final 4.
Not only that, Ohio State, think about this. They get Tennessee at home this week. They're favored. Then they would play Oregon in the Rose Bowl. They lost to Oregon by 1 on the road. They have every chance in the world to beat Oregon in 2 weeks. And then they're immediately in the college football playoff. I'm with you. The only possibility I could think, and Colton brings it up, maybe some Ohio State fans are overlooking Tennessee and they've just gone ahead and decided to buy Rose Bowl tickets.
No, it's definitely the other from people I talked to up there. If it's anything, it's not overconfidence that you're going to save that trip. Because I understand some people are going to save this kind of as a bowl trip, and we'll see what economic impacts that has down the road, Caleb, but you're not going to save it if you're in Columbus. You're just going to go to that game. You already have a ticket, so you're going to go to that game, and then what are you going to do if you have the money to travel to that would be that would be quarterfinal, right? You would make that trip.
it would be the quarterfinal in the Rose Bowl. Yeah.
Okay, here's another thought, and I believe it is Ryan Day and the fact that they don't want him. I believe there's a real tangible backlash to that. But let me just offer this up as a thought. What if a lot of fans use the HD excuse? They live in Columbus, but they're like, these guys from Tennessee, I heard all about their offense. I watched them a couple of times. Didn't do much for me. It's going to be cold. You know how they make those seats smaller and smaller, and I get bigger and bigger because I'm sure they have the same jokes up there that they do in Knoxville, right, Caleb?
Yeah, I'm sure.
So they're like, I'll just stay at home and watch it. That way I can make the trip to whatever the bowl may be.
Rose Bowl. It'd be the Rose Bowl. It'd be Pasadena anyway.
Yeah, because I want to go to the Rose Bowl and I want to take this game off. Maybe it undermines the home team across the board.
Well, okay, so Ohio State's a little bit different from like the upper Midwest. And for those who don't know, and Dave, you know this, there's 2 types of Midwest. There's lower Midwest, which is like kind of like you go straight up I-75 from Tennessee, you're kind of in there. Cincinnati, right? And Cincinnati, where Larry Bird is from in Indiana, that's like lower Midwest. That's not the same as the upper Midwest, where See, I don't know where Columbus falls because it's right in the middle of Ohio. Because in the upper Midwest, they wouldn't think that way. In the upper Midwest, they'd be like, 17 degrees? Let's get hammered. I'm ready to go, baby. Because they love that weather up there. Cincinnati and Southern Indiana, though, they don't really love that weather like that. Or Southern Illinois, they don't love that type of weather. I don't know where Columbus falls on that trajectory. But, I mean, before we get to fourth down, I just have to point out that I think that Ohio State, I still think they would take. Look, they have screamed for years. If the SEC just came and played the Big Ten and Big Ten country, they wouldn't know what to do because they couldn't handle the weather. You got your shot. You've got an SEC team coming to Big Ten country.
Literally is reason enough to call for regulation of the YouTube channels in general. That voice is hands down. What down is it, Coop?
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. Fourth down.
Public figures comments. Ross Bjork. I loved him on Star Trek. And Kirk Herbstreit saying OSU needs to be better. Well, yeah.
No. He's saying, sorry. Ross Bjork was asking fans to not settle Tennessee. We talked about that yesterday. But Kirk Herbstreit came out and said OSU might actually have been better playing on the road than at home. What he says is the minute things go wrong for Ohio State at home, not only would the Tennessee fans cheer, but the Ohio State fans would just start booing the team in a heartbeat. And that
I can't believe this is a thing. I really can't.
I know, right? It's the first playoff game ever, and you're playing it at home.
Yeah, I mean, you have a chance to win every single thing you talked about in February, except for the Big Ten championship, which is pretty much meaningless, right?
Yeah, or beat Michigan, and they take pride in beating Michigan. But
sure they do.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't understand I don't think Tennessee fans would ever feel this way. Tennessee could lose to Florida, Georgia, and Alabama in the same year. If they're playing for a national championship, that still outweighs that, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Your goal is championships.
Yes.
It's I know in the 90s the Cowboys and Packers had a big rivalry, right? During that time.
Well, yeah, fortunately they had Brett Favre, so it wasn't that big of a rivalry.
Yeah, well, there was one year, the year the Packers won the Super Bowl, they lost to the Cowboys. I don't think the Packers cared. They won the Super Bowl.
No, I agree. And I used to think that I remember people used to say in the 90s and early 2000s, well, you didn't beat Florida, so it doesn't really matter. What does that mean? What does it matter?
He won an SEC title in 97.
Yeah, I know. What does that matter? Well, I think some people think of that as a hollow title, don't you?
I don't. I think the SEC title actually mattered back then. And so, but look, I mean, it's funny. The 2001 team beat Florida, lost the SEC title. The 97 team lost to Florida, won the SEC title. Everybody's taking the 97 team. Everybody is taking the 97 team over the 2001 team.